Hey, WrestleMania Universe, it's Zander
and Ray,
and welcome to WrestleMania Fallout.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to tell all about Season 2. We are going to tell you the Slammy Award winners for WrestleMania. I'm not sure if we're going to do a blow-by-blow. We're probably going to save that for the podcast because that's the whole point of the podcast.
We're going to reveal all about Season 2. We're going to take questions. So to people who usually ask questions in premieres and I don't have a chance to answer because I'm having to attend to the premiere, now's your chance. Any questions you have about the OS11 universe, fire away. We got a lot to talk about. Like I said, we're going to talk everything Season 2 finally, which means we will talk about everything. Hello, Zach. Hello, Hanzo. Good to see both of you here. WrestleMania is performing amazingly. We just broke 500 views in the first day, which is insane. Yes, Mada, no beard. Thank you all for over 40 likes on WrestleMania in the first 24 hours as well. I said 20 likes in the first 24 hours, and I'd shave my beard off.
No.
I mean, yeah, but don't expect them to do much. Okay, so without any further ado, we have a lot to break down today. As Ray said, we've got the Slammies. We've got the Masters of the OS11 Universe Season 2 results. I've got something very special that a lot of people have been asking for, and I've got a story to tell at the end of the stream that we're going to save for the end of the stream. Are you pointing that like you have something to say?
I don't know.
So I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing today, Ray?
I'm all right. Finally getting over the sinus infection.
That's very good to hear. All right, so I'm going to tell people a little bit of formatting about the stream. So we're going to we've got 13 matches to go through, something like that. We're going to go through a match. We'll answer questions that come in while we're talking about the match after we talk about each match, because I don't want to just be in the middle. I don't want to just be in the middle of talking about, Owens versus Zayn and then have to answer a question like, when is Becky Lynch coming back in the middle of my sentence,
Yeah. So Mada asks, Ray, are the Falcons beating the Giants today? God, I hope so.
Okay.
God, I hope so. I'm just going to say, okay, so Zander, I know you're not a football guy.
No,
but
I'm not.
But last week we had a game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we were going back and forth, and the score was like, I think, 23-25. And it was like fourth quarter, halfway through. Somehow we lost 23 points, and the final score was like 23-48.
I mean, you saw how the Super Bowl in 2017 went, so.
Yeah. Damn you, Brady!
Anyways, let's talk about WrestleMania, shall we?
Sure.
So, guys, in the chat, this is officially me saying, ask the questions now. We will answer them between talking about matches. So let's start with the first match of the night, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which was commentated by Prince Mada. I feel like nothing more needs to be said.
Why isn't Mada here?
Because Mada's busy. Anyway, also, you and I, this is kind of the final. WrestleMania was also kind of the final show where LS11 Universe was just me and you, because now Mada's part of the team too.
Yeah.
Does that mean he's getting put on the channel logo? I'm not sure yet. we will play around with it a little bit and see. Anyways, so Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which was commentated by Prince Mada. I don't think much more needs to be said about this than Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
Karrion Kross.
The Browns play today, Ray. Can't miss that. Yeah, but we'll be wrapped up before they go on, I think. Or you can just
they start now.
Huh?
I think football starts right now.
No, it starts in an hour.
Okay, well, anyway. So, yeah, the Battle Royal was obviously just to get Karrion Kross over.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty obvious his time in NXT is wrapped up. So whether it's Ali or Dijakovic that he will be facing post-draft, well, I guess you guys will have to tune in on Monday and Friday to find out where Karrion Kross is going.
Yep.
But I mean, obviously the Battle Royal was also a good way to get Tyler Bate and Bobby Lashley over because, I mean, Bate hung in there forever and Lashley was looking good in it as well. Everyone else, it was fine. I don't think Jinder Mahal and The Miz were losing much from being eliminated immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't win in season 1 or in season 2. So, anyways, let's see. Let's look at the chat here. So we're about to talk about the next match, but Mada says, I tried my hardest to make that man seem like a star. Wasn't hard, though. And Zach says, man, he's already being treated like a monster. Yes, he is. We're doing our best. Okay, so on to the main show of WrestleMania. We've got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn as the kickoff match. Now, I think this was one of the longest planned matches of WrestleMania. Like, I think this is one of those we had planned from the beginning.
Yeah.
So that's kind of one thing I will mention as we go through is that there were a lot of matches that were thrown together and a lot of matches that were had to be rebooked. But there are a lot of matches that have been booked since like this time last year.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. You guys don't understand. Like, when we get to the SmackDown Tag Team Title match, the clusterfuck.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, the SmackDown Tag Title match is going to have the most to talk about.
The cluster. This is the level of clusterfuck that was. Because I'm just gonna be honest, the triple threat main event we booked last year. That was like the main event. I think we had that set as the main event.
Yeah, there was one change to it that
WrestleMania premiered.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get there. But there was only like one change made to that ever. But yeah. Okay, so yeah, Owens and Zayn was one of the earliest booked matches of the show. I think Sammy winning made the most sense. We're trying to make him build him up as a top babyface. Zayn and Roode was always the planned Backlash main event, or one of the planned Backlash main events. But yeah, I think Zayn and Roode's going to be a lot of fun when we get there. And yeah, Zach says they got a Battleground 2016 vibe. That was actually exactly what I was going for with that match.
Yeah.
I think we pulled it off pretty well.
Yeah.
Honestly, one of my favorite matches of the night as well.
Yeah, a good one for me for sure. I think match of the night was still the triple threat main event.
Yeah. We'll get there when we get there though. We'll talk about matches as we get to them.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, if you want to ask me what's best matches, I'd say that. Do you think it's a better opener than Black and Murphy last year?
No. Black and Murphy was match of the night last year. So
yeah,
Rollins Undertaker is arguable for last year too, though.
Because that promo, though.
Yeah, we'll talk about promos when we get to other matches as well. But yeah, I don't. Do you have anything else to add about Zayn and Owens? Because I
have something about promo packages. Xander did a great job on the opening one.
Oh, thank you. Wasn't it the first time you'd seen the opening one?
No, I saw it before.
Okay. All right, so before we jump into the IC title ladder match, let's check chat. Mada being part of LS11 University's Fire. Yes, it is. He's not going to be on pay-per-views very often. We might try and get him down here, or I might try going up there. And if I go up there, Mada and I will do a pay-per-view, or if he comes down here, we'll do a 3-man booth or something. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out when we get there. And Zach says there was not a bad match yesterday. I don't think there was a bad match, but there were some matches I wasn't a big fan of in the end.
Yeah.
But we'll get there when we get there. So up next is the Intercontinental Championship ladder match. So this one was a lot. The participants changed a lot over time.
Yeah.
This was probably the third most changed match of the night.
Oh, yeah, because the WWE Championship match kept changing.
Yeah, we'll get there in a minute as well. But
yeah, God, that thing changed a lot.
Cena was always supposed to be in it, but Cena was never supposed to walk in as champion.
Yeah, Cena wasn't supposed to walk in as champion. And the winner last night, Dominik Dijakovic, who I predicted would win because he's an NXT guy. But
he was a last-minute winner. Like, we literally changed that in January, or in game January, in July of this year, so less than 2 months ago.
Yes.
And we'll talk about why. So originally, John Morrison was going to be walking into the match as champion. He was going to beat Roddy at Elimination Chamber for the belt. I decided that I thought Cena would add a little bit more to the IC title than a 1 month throwaway reign from Morrison.
Yeah.
And I think it did.
But the winner is what's interesting.
Yes, because the original planned winner a year ago, and until about 2 months ago, the original planned winner was going to be Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt was supposed to win the Intercontinental Championship. And I guess I can say it out loud because plans have heavily changed. It was going to be Bray Wyatt versus Karrion Kross at Backlash. And Kross was going to beat Bray so bad that The Fiend would return for SummerSlam.
Yeah.
But obviously Bray Wyatt got released. And then that wasn't even what caused the actual change. Bray's release didn't change it. The Jeff Hardy feud actually led to the change because I decided Bray and Jeff were going to feud after WrestleMania as well, leading to Jeff Hardy becoming Brother Nero and he and Bray forming a tag team together and winning the tag titles. But Bray's release also changed that. And I decided, well, if Bray's going to be in the tag division in a couple months, then why is he going to have a 1 month throwaway reign with the title? I suggested Randy Orton, and then Ray suggested Dijakovic, and I think Dijakovic was a better fit for the Intercontinental title at the time.
Yeah. Also, thank you. The Fiend and Cross. That was actually kind of like my thing. Was I want to do the Fiend versus Karrion Kross. I'm gonna be very honest here because this is supposed to be shoe, right?
Yeah, completely.
A lot of what I did with Cross in season 2 was a middle of the road booking for me because I'm not a massive fan of Karrion Kross.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so, but yeah, so the Fiend was supposed to come back. The Fiend was supposed to have a match with Karrion Kross. That would have been like the big monster feud. Fortunately, it didn't happen. Thanks, Vince. Just continuously firing people.
Yeah. Fiend was also supposed to return in various different ways in season 3. Maybe we'll talk about that a little today. Maybe we'll wait for later for that.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll wait until like a SummerSlam Fallout for that.
Yeah.
Because I think Fallout and pre-show could be fun for all of the big four. But anyway, because people really liked the pre-show yesterday, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So, other than that, I still think Dijakovic is definitely the best way to go out of those 8 guys. Although, if you were putting a gun to my head and said make it one of it, you have to change it to someone else. You have to make it someone other than Dijakovic. I think I've probably gone Cesaro.
I would have gone Strong.
Yeah, Cesaro or Hardy for me. Although there's a reason I didn't say Roddy, and we've got a bit of a shoot announcement we got to make in a minute here. That is very unfortunate, but we'll get there when we get there. All right, so we're about to move on to Balor versus Nakamura. I see a comment about Balor, so perfect. Let me check the chat here. Man, that would have been amazing. Fiend versus Cross. Mada's not a big fan of Cross either, and Zach says we could still get Demon versus Cross. Who knows? So this one is going to be very fun to talk about because this was originally going to be 2 different matches. Finn Balor versus Shinsuke Nakamura. So, Ray, should we talk about the booking behind this match first or the 2 matches that would have happened instead?
Let's go with the 2 matches that would have happened instead.
All right. So you know what? I'm going to upload the files for these 2 matches that would have happened instead because I should still have them. If I don't still have them, well, then that's unfortunate. But let me check if I still have them. No, I don't, actually. So, if you guys remember, a few weeks ago on Raw, Finn Balor had his match, I want to say, with Daniel Bryan. And then Nakamura and Balor had a stare down after the match. Originally, this was going to be a matchup between Daniel Bryan and Murphy. And after the match, Finn Balor would have come out and had a stare down with Murphy. And it would have led to Balor wanting Murphy to prove himself to him at WrestleMania, where it would have been Finn Balor versus Buddy Murphy. And Murphy would have beaten Finn Balor to cement himself as the next top star. And speaking of post-elimination chamber, Shinsuke Nakamura's WrestleMania plans changed a lot because he was originally supposed to be in a different match, which was why he was part of Raw. But when we changed that, the night after Elimination Chamber, Nakamura would have been competing in a match in the opener. And when he won, the lights would have gone down. And from the smoke would have risen the return of Aleister Black, who would have walked down to the ring and hit Nakamura with a black mass to set up Black's first match in almost a year at WrestleMania against Nakamura, where heel Aleister Black would have won. I think you can tell why those didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because Black and Murphy both got released on the same bloody day. As Ray put it in our Discord that day, Zander went down to the beach to stare out Lost across the ocean. And I did that day.
Yeah, no, it was like I could just see like it's like the ending of Cobra Kai season 2. You're just like on the beach looking out in the ocean hopelessly, drinking a beer, just like throwing it at your car and walking away. Like your phone comes on, someone else is released, so you just throw it into the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, someone else who was supposed to win a championship at WrestleMania at one point got released, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess we'll say it out loud here. Murphy was supposed to be the one to dethrone Bobby Roode eventually. Where was he going to dethrone him? I won't say, because that would give away pay-per-view matches. Like, was he supposed to dethrone him at Backlash, and now it's going to be Sami Zayn that dethrones him? Who knows? We've done title changes at Backlash before. But anyway, so Balor and Nakamura, it was a matter of, well, they both just lost their WrestleMania opponents. Might as well put them against one another for a match.
Yep.
And I think Nakamura winning was the right option. And I think all of you will understand that as the season goes on with Balor and you see where he's going with season 3. It'll make sense as to why Balor lost that match at WrestleMania.
Balor's one of the guys I'm most excited for season 3.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, season 3 is going to be very, very fun. So there's no questions or comments in the chat at the moment between matches here. Kind of surprised based on the Murphy announcement there. So let's jump into LeRae versus Storm for the SmackDown Women's title. Another one of the matches that was booked a year ago, actually.
Yeah.
I don't have much to say on this one, honestly, other than the idea was always that LeRae was going to win the championship at WrestleMania. Only difference is she was supposed to win the Rumble to get there.
Yeah, but then we had Johnny win the Rumble instead. And
yeah, it would have felt weird to have both of them win the Rumble. So her winning the Chamber made more sense, ultimately.
Yeah.
Also, that Women's Chamber match was nominated for Match of the Year this year by us. It's honestly a really good match.
Has it closed yet? Is voting closed on Slammies?
What was that?
Has the voting closed on the Slammies yet?
No, I plan on keeping them open until the end of the stream. And then that was going to be the last thing we did.
Okay, so guys, if you have not gone to vote yet, go vote on the Slammies if you want your vote counted. Because pretty soon we're already in match 4, so we're already fourth of the way through the show, or third of the way through the show. So we're already close to the end. So time's ticking down, guys. So if you want your votes to be counted for the Slammy Awards, go vote now. Don't waste any more time. You got do it now.
Yep, and you can find the link to the Slammies in the pinned message of this chat. We've already had like 20 plus people vote, so it's been really.
If you're one of the few people who has not put in their votes yet, please do submit your votes. We want everyone's opinion to be counted for the Slammy Awards.
Okay, so let's jump on to the Raw Tag Titles. This was the worst match of the night, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Hang on. When I heard Redesign, Rebuild, Reclaim, I was thinking, here comes a long title reign for Rollins. I love it. We'll see. Just because he changes his theme song doesn't mean we're going to do what another universe mode might have done, which I assume is what you were referencing. Anyway.
And also, Rollins has changed his theme before. Rollins has changed his theme more than anybody. This is like his 4th theme change.
He started to burn it down.
Yeah, the original Second Coming, Then he came out to the Messiah. Then we changed it to an electric guitar Messiah because that wouldn't get us copyrighted. And also, I just like it more for him.
And now we're on redesign, rebuild, reclaim. So I think we're on number 5 at this point.
Yeah, so we've done a lot of Rollins themes.
Yeah. He's changed themes a lot. It just made more sense for him to come out to burn it down. And then I like the lyrics version better instead of when the Messiah is dead is his gimmick now. But anyway. Yeah. So the Raw Tag Titles, this is my least favorite match of the night. It was a little clunky. It was meant to be a squash, but the game was just not having it.
Yeah, unfortunately. But Imperium debuted, which was something I kind of threw in at the last minute.
It was better. There were a lot of options for who was going to be.
The Enigma is here.
I'm not an Enigma. Oh, man. Anyway, yeah. So
it's the Enigma people.
Huh? So, okay. Okay. So originally, there were a lot of different ideas for who was going to win the Raw Tag Titles at WrestleMania. Originally, it was going to be Blake and Cutler as the champions as well, when they were still the disciples of Rollins. Well, I think you know what happened there. Monday Night Messiah version 5 is where we were at now, I think.
Yep.
In terms of having to plan people to be disciples, we were on version 5. In terms of execution, we're on version 4.
God. Like, this is how often we had to change that team just to get to the conclusion of that story. Which, like, in case you didn't know, that was the end. Rollins, like, his whole Messiah story pretty much concluded at WrestleMania.
Yep, it's over. It's done. He's the Kingslayer again.
Yeah.
Good job, everyone. We did it.
Who'd have thought? You and I.
Not me. Anyway, but yeah. So I guess we'll talk about some of the people that were going to be there instead of Imperium. I, at one point, wanted Mustache Mountain. But Ray wanted to put the titles on them. So I was like, all right, we're good. That's good. He's like, I can give you Imperium, though. I'll take it. I wanted Walter for season 3 anyway.
Yeah.
So Imperium is officially part of Raw. They won't be drafted away to SmackDown or NXT. They won't go right back to NXT after being drafted to Raw. You can kind of make out the outline of Walter on the figure shelf in the background since he's on Raw now. But yeah, so I don't have much else to say about the Imperium thing. Do you?
No, not really.
Although I do think it's funny. I mentioned it on WrestleMania itself. I do think it's funny that last year at TakeOver New York, Pete Dunne, Imperium, Candice LeRae, and Dominik Dijakovic all won championships. This year at WrestleMania, Imperium, Candice LeRae, and Dominik Dijakovic all won championships.
NXT.
Okay, so that leads us on to one of my favorite matches of the night.
And there's the fact that we have big plans for Ricochet, so...
Yeah. Shayna Baszler and Rhea Ripley is one of my favorite matches of the night. It might take the crown as my favorite women's match in OS 11 universe. LeRae and Ripley still holds a very special place in my heart because that was such a good match.
That TakeOver?
Yeah. Their TakeOver match still holds a very special place in my heart. But I think
every season I get like one like really good take. I know it's not your fault, but every season I get like one really good TakeOver match.
Yeah.
Well, season 1 I got 2. I got Cesaro and Pete Dunne, then I got the triple threat for the title.
Yeah. What was it this season that you got?
Thatcher Styles, best of 5.
That was nominated for match of the year as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Ripley's WrestleMania opponent changed a lot.
Okay. 1 second, guys. I'm going to a desk.
Here, I'll take you off the stream for a second. All right. So as Ray makes his way to his desk, I will continue to talk about Baszler and Ripley from WrestleMania. So Rhea Ripley's original WrestleMania opponent was going to be Alexa Bliss. Bliss was originally going to win the Rumble. Ray was pushing for that heavily after her Iron Woman performance in season 1. But I vetoed Bliss winning the Rumble because she'd already lost clean to Rhea Ripley multiple times, and it didn't scream WrestleMania match to me. And so, welcome back. So I vetoed Alexa Bliss. Then we moved on to Asuka, and then they did that in real life, and it was very lackluster. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
And so then I told Ray, I was like, hey, how would you feel if I moved Shayna Baszler over to Raw by having her win the Rumble, and she fought Ripley as a rematch from TakeOver Brooklyn 1 to call back to to Ripley being one of the only people to beat Baszler? And you liked it. I liked it. And what do you know? It turned out to be a really good match.
Wouldn't you know who won the pony?
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to move on to the U.S. title six-pack match. We got a couple questions in the chat. What if John Cena goes to Raw tomorrow? Goes to Raw? Well, it would mean he got drafted to Raw. To face Bobby Roode or Seth Rollins, well, that just means that he gets drafted to Raw. Given the fact Adam Cole IRL is in AEW, will he be sticking around in LS11? We will talk about that later. What if Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy face tag team, win tag team championships? Murphy's no longer in the LS11 WWE universe, so that can't happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so United States Championship six-pack match. The U.S. title was always going to be defended in a six-pack match at WrestleMania. LA Knight was not always going to be walking in as champion because LA Knight wasn't even signed with the company when we first planned this six-pack match.
Yeah.
Andrade was going to be walking in as champion.
Oh.
So let's talk about what the original six-pack was. The original six-pack match was champion Andrade versus Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, Braun Strowman, Shane Thorne, and Buddy Murphy. And Braun Strowman was going to win the U.S. title. Then I changed it to Matt Riddle because people like Matt Riddle a lot more, as do I.
Yeah.
Well, then Andrade got released, so I was like, oh, shit, Ray, who are we going to have beat El Generico for the U.S. title? Because we originally thought LA Knight was going to NXT, but you couldn't think of anywhere you wanted to slot him in. So we ended up having him go straight to Raw, win the U.S. title, and he was going to lose the title to Riddle in the six-pack. But then plans changed, and Riddle had new plans for post-WrestleMania. And so we changed it again. And ultimately, I'm the one who decided Ali. And the reason Ali won the U.S. title, and I think you'll agree with this, Ray, and I think everyone in the chat will agree with this as well. Ali has been so close to breaking that glass ceiling in Universe for 2 years now that it was he was due. It was time to finally give him something. And I'd argue the same goes for Chad Gable. And I mean, it's all but confirmed that he's going to be the one challenging Joseph Connors next. So it seems like he's finally getting that big single push.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very much looking forward to season 3 for both of those guys. They were 2 of the first challengers to the WWE title we ever had, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a reason you're giving me these looks?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay, so no questions in the chat.
I know I just left, but I gotta go because I have to blow my nose again because I thought it's infection.
All right. So, there we go. Okay, so next matchup, I will give Ray a minute to get back, so I will talk for another minute here. Just remember, what I will say is that we won't be doing spoilers, so don't ask me like who I think is going to go here, who I think is going to go there, who's going to win this. Because if you ask me what I think is going to happen in the universe, I can't really tell you because I write the shows. Like I wrote the month of Money in the Bank yesterday, which was a lot of fun. Money in the Bank is going to be a very, very fun show this year. I'm very looking forward to it. I guess while Ray is gone, I can talk about the pay-per-view schedule for a minute. I'll just tell you guys what pay-per-views are coming in season. What pay-per-views are coming in season? What do you call it? Season 3. That's what it's called. So I'll talk about these season 3 pay-per-views that are coming up, and I have the dates written out for them, so I'll tell you what's coming. So here's what we've got planned pay-per-view wise for the next few months. On October 23rd, 2021, we will have Backlash. November 6th will be TakeOver Cleveland. November 7th will be AEW Revolution. Vengeance on November 20th. Money in the Bank on December 18th. And Judgment Day on January 15th. And then TakeOver Toronto on January 29th, and SummerSlam on February 12th. That's as far as we've planned out anything, so that's as far as I can go with dates right now.
I needed to grab my water, some toilet paper, and my phone.
You're good. You're good. Okay, so now that you're back, we're getting towards the end actually. Okay, I'll answer this question. Zach says, "What made you think about an announcer entrance at WrestleMania? The idea of making Ray dance his way to the ring to everybody's working for the weekend, which is just a long-running inside joke in our friendship that I don't think I'm ever going to explain because it's funny.
I'm going to explain it now.
Fuck.
Okay, so go look up Chippendales SNL.
Please don't.
It's hilarious. But so it started out as a joke between me and another friend of mine, Hudson. And Hudson and I would act together. And so we had this joke one time because we were trying to because I'm a big dude. And we were kind of joking that I was him and I were trying to basically do a Chippendales routine. So I turned on Everybody's Working for the Weekend, which is the song they dance to in that sketch. And it's Chris Farley, who looks like Chris Farley. And I can't remember his name. I love him. Patrick Swayze. And Patrick Swayze, he's ripped, he's muscular, he looks great. And then you have Chris Farley, and they're just in this dance off where clearly Patrick Swayze looks more impressive, but everyone's just so moved by the passion that Chris Farley dances with. And the song they're playing is Everybody's Working for the Weekend.
Would you look at that, Kevin? It's the police.
Did that even play?
I don't know.
I played the "Would you look at that, Kevin? It's the police" clip, and I don't think it played.
How is that illegal, though?
I don't know. Anyway, so Daniel Bryan versus Bobby Roode. Let's talk about one of the matches that changed the fucking most. Christ on a bike, this one changed so much. Bobby Roode had 5 different opponents for WrestleMania throughout the last year. His original opponent was Keith Lee. Because Glorious versus Bask in His Glory, I mean, come on.
We've gone through Keith Lee, Nakamura, Matt Riddle again. You wanted to do Rollins at one point. You wanted to swap it where it was Keith versus Roman and Rollins versus Roode at WrestleMania. Yeah. So I'm not going to go too in depth about that because potential spoilers. Anyway,
right. And then finally we settled on Daniel Bryan because of Daniel Bryan leaving WWE.
Yeah.
And so we added this
Murphy.
What was that?
At one point, I think we were considering Murphy versus Roode for the show.
No, we were not. In fact, Bobby Roode wasn't even supposed to be WWE champion going into this because the original WrestleMania main event was WWE champion Aleister Black versus Royal Rumble winner Buddy Murphy. Vince!
I liked how our main event came out, though.
I know, but just the 1 year story of Black and Murphy going from the U.S. title opener.
We got our 1 year story, Zander. We got our 1 year story with Rollins, and I'm satisfied with that.
I know, but I'm frustrated. I'm so frustrated. Anyways, yeah. So eventually we settled on Daniel Bryan because Bryan was leaving WWE. So we thought, let's do something nice. Give him a match with Bobby Roode for the title. I worked out the how he goes to Raw story by having Roode screw him at the Royal Rumble. And I really think that bit, there were actually a lot of people in the chat who were like, Bryan could win this.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought we were going to swerve it. And then I genuinely wonder how many people got genuinely mad at Bobby Roode when Bryan tapped him out during the ref bump. I genuinely wonder how many people were upset about that and were mad that Bryan got screwed.
That was my idea, though. That was my idea. I know the finish. The ref goes down. Bryan locks in the S-lock. Roode taps out, and the ref's not there. That would make it so much more worse because then Bryan gets screwed.
Yeah, okay. I just saw this chat here from Pierre who says the final countdown was a nice touch. That was also Ray's idea. Monster was my idea for Daniel Bryan's music entrance video to be a kind of remake of the Monster video based on his Universe career. And then Ray was like, what would be a really dickhead move is if Roode came out to a video package about himself played to the final countdown. I was like, oh my God, yes.
Heat on Roode.
And we got so close to getting a copyright claim on that, but I was actually able to just dispute it because I don't remember who it was, but like it wasn't even Europe. It was a random company that tried to copyright this piano cover of the final countdown that was not from them. It was on a free to use YouTube site or a free to use site. And
who is your pick to go to Raw, said by Zane Chaudhry. Zane, we aren't going to be talking about that today, buddy.
Yeah, I already said earlier, we're not going to talk about who we think is going to go to shows because we wrote who goes to what show, so I can't just say that, obviously. But yeah, and so the Monster video, I think that's the one that had the most work put into it by me, but I don't think it was the best out of all of them. Although it is hilarious to me that EC3 got a spotlight in a package at WrestleMania this year. I don't know why it's so funny to me, but it is.
So that's the second time asking that, right? About who's going to Raw.
Yes. And
all
the
right,
second time.
If you keep persisting, buddy, I'm going to put you in timeout. All right.
Anyways, so yeah. So that's the whole story about the WWE title. Roode was always going to retain no matter who he fought at WrestleMania. But yeah, so let's check out the chat here before we jump into the Raw versus SmackDown match. Zach says, what got me was the WrestleMania 30 attire and Monster, and you thought Bryan was really going to win. That was kind of the idea behind all of that. And hello to Kumar, who has joined the chat.
Okay, cool.
All right, so let's move on to the Raw versus SmackDown match. This one also changed a little bit over time.
Yeah.
So Drew McIntyre, I believe, was always going to be representing SmackDown in this one, but it was originally going to be McIntyre and Balor one-on-one. McIntyre-Balor one-on-one was the original Raw versus SmackDown match because I'm looking forward to reading the chat here in a second. It was really going to be Balor-McIntyre because these two guys won the world titles at WrestleMania for their show last year. Now they're on opposite shows. They're going to clash over bragging rights for their show and the draft pick. And Drew was going to win to give SmackDown the win this year so we could stop doing Raw versus SmackDown next year. So Ray, then when we put Balor in the match with Murphy, which is Ray's idea for a match, Ray suggested elevating Apollo Crews by putting him in this match instead of the six-pack match, which I believe he was also supposed to be in at one point. And he was like, why not give Apollo a pretty clean win over McIntyre at WrestleMania to help build him up? We're like, let's do it.
Yeah. Also, it fit nicely with the fact that last year's Mania build between McIntyre and Cena, if you go back and watch the build up to that match, Apollo was heavily involved with the build.
Yeah, so I forget about that sometimes.
Yeah, he was heavily involved in the build to that match. And so I was honestly always kind of angling for McIntyre and Apollo to face off at Mania. That was the match I wanted for a long time. Because of that build, because of that through line, I like it when things make sense like that.
All right, so before we jump into the most rebooked part of the show, which was the SmackDown tag titles, let's check out the chat here. Carol says, I knew he was going to retain. Bryan was going to AEW no matter what. He's not. Hey, the AEW rosters are now added to the LS11 Universe roster page that you can find in the description. Bryan Danielson's not on that roster.
We also from GK Dardane. GK Dardane or Sheik Dardane? Sheik Dardane, I think is.
Screw Bobby Roode after what he did. Oh, the heat. I'm loving it.
I love it. Fox Bro says, how was it writing it? Fun.
Yeah, it was a very fun show to write. I love getting to write WrestleMania because we put so much work into it. Like, we already have matches for next year planned. Like, next year's WrestleMania, which is going to be in August next year, it literally moves back 4 weeks every year. Because we only have 48 in-game weeks. But yeah, next year's WrestleMania, we've got both world title matches and like 3 of the big matches planned for it already.
KDR Jane says DB is gone. Yes, he is.
He is.
Kmar Thackeray, I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time pronouncing a lot of you guys' name. How about if the Bloodline changed their name to the Trial Bloodline?
I think
the Tribal Bloodline?
Tribal Bloodline might be a little too much of a mouthful, honestly.
Yeah, and also it's a bit on the nose. I think the Bloodline just kind of works better.
Just a little bit.
Pierre Bornelis says, I see big things for Apollo in season 3.
As you should.
Carol says they always have fun writing it until Vince fires someone.
Yep, and Zane asks, is Johnny wrestling face or heel? Well, he turned heel last night.
He's now a heel. He's now arguably, outside of Bobby Roode, the biggest heel we have.
Yep, he went into the main event as a face and turned heel. Just wait until you hear No Heart, No Soul for the first time on Friday. I'm so excited for that.
Yep.
Oh, I'm so excited for Gargano's segment on Friday, and I can't tell anyone why. So, on to the most booked match of the night. The triple threat
clusterfuck that we
SmackDown
literally rebooked after the show was recorded.
After the show was edited. I had to re-edit WrestleMania. So, ladies and gentlemen,
talk about the original plan.
So, let's do that. Let me do it because I remember it best so far.
But it was this was my idea. Like, this whole idea, the whole match.
But I remember how it started, though.
Okay.
So, originally, Daniel Bryan unsuccessfully challenges Adam Cole at the Royal Rumble. So now Daniel Bryan's going after the tag titles, and it's Bryan and Cena versus Fish and O'Reilly at the Elimination Chamber. I'm on the right track so far, right?
Yeah.
And Fish and O'Reilly cheat to win, and Daniel Bryan snaps after the match and injures Kyle O'Reilly. So, at WrestleMania, do you want to take over from here?
So, WrestleMania, it will be the return of Team Hell No, I believe, versus the New Day versus Fish and O'Reilly in a six-pack challenge.
Strong and Fish, because O'Reilly would have been injured at this point.
Oh, yeah, Strong and Fish, because O'Reilly getting injured was always the plan. O'Reilly would have been injured earlier on the night, which was always the plan. And then Ryan Select Team Hell No was about to win. Daniel Bryan cracks Kane with a chair, and Daniel Bryan would have joined the Undisputed Era.
Yep. Daniel Bryan was going to shock the system at WrestleMania and become the fourth man of the UE. It was going to be Bryan, Cole, Strong, and Fish. But then Bryan left, and so Ray was like, we can't just have Team Hell No versus the Undisputed Era be Bryan's final match.
Yeah. So we kind of moved some things around, and then Kevin Owens was supposed to join the Undisputed Era.
Yeah, we were going to swap a KO for a KO.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens was going to take the place of Kyle O'Reilly. O'Reilly was going to be found knocked out backstage earlier in the night, as he was yesterday. Who attacked Kyle O'Reilly? I'll never tell.
That's still a mystery.
Who really attacked Kyle
Oh
O'Reilly?
my God. I might actually try to design a shirt and put that up on their shop. Just says, who attacked Kyle?
Okay, so this is where a real life announcement is going to come into the show. So I think many people were surprised when Bobby Fish held a championship at the end of last night.
Yeah.
So Bobby Fish was released right after WrestleMania was recorded.
Yeah.
So I hate to put it this way, but I that's why I mentioned on commentary it looked like he was holding his shoulder. And I will tell both the shoot and kayfabe version of this first. The shoot version is Bobby Fish is unfortunately now no longer part of the OS11 universe due to his firing in real life. Kayfabe, Bobby Fish has suffered a potentially career-ending injury and has had to step away from the ring.
Yep.
And so you will see it on the Friday thumbnail, and I'm sure people will still ask about it because not everyone's going to see this stream. But as of today, the acting Undisputed Era Tag Team Champions will be Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. So the UAE has completely flipped around who the tag team is for now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hate having to announce that, but releases are a bitch, and you can probably see Adam Cole with the tag title on the shelf behind me anyway. So, let's check out the chat now. Let's see.
What's next for Seth Rollins' Season 3? Tune into the draft videos to find out, Zane, like we've said every time.
Yep, and let's see. What date is Backlash? Said it 10 minutes ago. I have an idea for Season 3. Apollo makes a faction called Cruise Control. It could happen. It could not. That's not a terrible idea, but I don't think it quite fits what we got planned for him.
We have big plans for Apollo.
Let's see.
Adam Cole is still a champion, baby, says Pierre Bonellis. Yes, he is.
That covers, is Adam Cole still in LS11 universe? Yes, he is. You will understand soon. Carol says, oh, I want Team Hell No again. Zane says,
unless Kane leaves the company.
Hell No for life. Damn, that would have been great. Wouldn't that be something? Okay, we answered that one. Thank you, Zach. Always appreciate the love, brother. And so that moves us on to a segment. One of the funniest things we've ever written, if you ask me.
Yeah. Oh, my. Zane, you're getting 300.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, sorry, Zane. You've asked that 3 times, and we've already told you we're not spoiling it 3 times. So you'll be back in 5 minutes. Anyways, so that brings us on to the segment. Stone Cold Steve Austin, the host of WrestleMania, cutting a promo. Obviously, this was preluded by the Cornell Zanz and Anger segment earlier in the night. I joked originally with Ray that Carnold should have been host of WrestleMania, but Ray was like, that would be too meta, Xander. We can't do that.
Yeah, it's too meta. Too meta.
I wanted Carnold to host so bad, but I knew it.
Meta.
I knew we couldn't.
Too meta.
We couldn't have Carnold hosting. So,
good.
Yeah, so it was obviously set up in the segment earlier with Jinder and Carnold getting face-to-face. I will answer that in a minute, Hanzo. So, yeah, Austin cuts his promo. Out comes The Rock. I had Rock come out in ring gear because, one, it was a modded version of him, so trying to create an entire where he was in a T-shirt would have crashed the game. And 2, if I had a body like The Rock, I would wear no shirt all the time, too. And 3, it was funny. And finally, Mick Foley came out. We had the 3 icons of the Attitude Era. You know, I always like to think that you can do a spotlight on legends if you do it all in one segment and you don't make them take up time for the main stars.
Yeah. Also, like, I don't mind legends getting one over on a modern guy if that modern guy isn't a top guy.
Right. And it was Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
And I think Jinder taking the stunner and the people's elbow was the best thing. The chat was loving it. Just Jobber in the chat said, this was made just for me. And I said, oh, it was for me too, Jobber. And Jobber's response was perfect. Did you see what Jobber said in the chat to me?
What?
He said, Xander's like Kevin Nash in a booking sense. He does things to pop the boys in the back that understand the joke.
Yeah. But also, I kind of threw this in at the end because you just want all 3 of them to stand tall. I was like, there's no way the Stone Cold ever gave up an opportunity to stun The Rock.
And I was like, that just makes it even better.
Yeah, there's just no way you give that up. So,
yeah. So it was also a nice cool down segment. So now we'll go back to the chat here. Zach says it was an amazingly funny segment. I loved it. Hanzo says, who are you cosplaying for the Halloween stream? Because you're hitting the sub goal. Well, if we hit 850 subs for Halloween, I'm cosplaying Lady Dimitrescu from Resident Evil. Carol says Cornell.
And guys, I've said before, I think I'm going to cosplay as Xander for Halloween.
Of course you are. Stuart Falcon says, hi, do you play 2K19 or 2K20? We played modded 2K19. I see you asked it twice. You weren't here at the beginning, so I'm going to give you a little leeway. We are only answering questions between talking about matches. We're not going to stop in the middle of talking to answer questions, but we will get to your questions. We do see them. We've got the chat pulled up.
Yeah,
so you've only got to ask it once.
Be a little patient. A little patient.
Yep. So I'm just giving you that one warning there because I know you weren't here at the beginning of the stream. Foxbro says Bryan Danielson for U.S. champion. I want it. Well, he's unfortunately no longer in universe mode. Hanzo says Zander's going to have a body like The Rock in 2022. It's confirmed. I mean, I've started working out, but I'm not going to look like Dwayne Johnson. That's for sure. I'll settle for Kane. I'll settle for like a 20. I'll settle for like a 2010 Kane bod.
Zach Rush, Stuart. We just said we played.
He might be on. There might be a little string delay. I'm going to give some leeway there. There might be a string.
We asked the question like 3 times. We play a heavily mod version of 2K19. That's what the game is on. Zach says, then you should have come out and hit Jinder with that 2-chair move, so I can't spell the name. A concerto?
Concerto. I didn't want to get physically involved with Jinder because we've settled our rivalry at the Rumble. But don't be surprised if Jinder shows up somewhere. I've heard Jinder's calendar is free at Thursday night at 7.
Zander.
All right. Just wondering, watching Universe Mode WrestleMania. Yep, so modded 2K19. Last time I'll say it there, just because I just saw that one. Was running on autopilot. So on to the second best video package of the night, in my opinion. Rollins and Reigns.
Yeah.
The Shield played way heavier into this feud than I originally intended.
Kind of on my advice for them.
Well, it worked better that way, I think.
Yeah, because we have said before, you said in the interview with PTW, by the way, if you guys have not gone to see our PTW interviews, go check those out. You get a little bit more an in-depth look at Universe Mode, and those guys are great. Go subscribe to PTW, go subscribe to Mada, all those guys are great. But Zander said in the video, he's on record saying this, we are doing the Tribal Chief in Season 3. We are doing the Tribal Chief. And I'm booking it. I'm heading up the storyline. It's kind of my baby for Season 3 is the big Tribal Chief story we're doing. And so I kind of guided him for a more Shield-based story because it plays better into what I'm doing with him, the Tribal Chief.
Right. And there was something else that made more sense at one point in time, but that did change over time.
Stuart, we answered it.
Yeah, we've answered it 3 times, pal. Anyways, I don't know if he expects us to answer it in the chat or what, but dude, we answered your question like 2 minutes ago.
Okay, I'm just gonna post heavily.
Anyways, but yeah, so there was another reason why the Shield was so heavily involved in the storytelling of Rollins and Reigns. But that's a story for later this year that we'll talk about. How about that? Zach says, man, with each season, your universe feels more like an actual wrestling show. I've gotten a little off topic there reading that comment. But yeah, I mean, we're kind of aiming for that. Trying to make it feel less like a wrestling simulation and more like an actual wrestling show. But yeah. So, Rollins and Reigns was another one of those matches that I booked a year ago. And I hate to say this out loud, but I feel like I need to say it. I had to kind of fight you to get that to actually happen.
Yeah, because like at the time, I'm going to say how I felt at the time. At the time, the Tribal Chief character was in its infancy, and I didn't know what he was doing with the character. So Reigns' character changed throughout the year in both LS11 and in real life to the point where I could slowly more get behind the match. But if you rewind a year ago, he was still kind of in this weird place where it was pre-Tribal Chief, like when you gave me that idea or when you presented this idea to me. So I was sitting here like, I don't know about this because I feel like a lot of universes did Rollins versus Reigns, and I never want to do something another universe would do unless I feel we can distinctly do it better.
Right. Yeah,
or at least do it differently.
Right. And so I think the way I actually convinced you of this, I was like, I told you I wanted it to be a Rollins redemption story. And originally, I wanted it to be like Murphy forgives Rollins on Raw, but then Ray gave me the idea of the motivational talk instead of, give him essentially the metaphorical slap in the face, which made a lot more sense. But yeah, the way I explained it to Ray,
I'm going to say what inspired that segment for me, because I know you weren't watching, but this is in my top 5 matches of all time, and it is one of my top 5 favorite matches of all time. Taker versus Edge inside Hell in a Cell.
Mm-hmm.
In the build-up to that, Edge asked Mick Foley to help him.
Mm-hmm.
And Mick Foley said to him, not only will I not help you, I can't help you, but the one person who can help you is Edge. You need to look inside your heart and find the Edge who made me say you're the best superstar in WWE. And then I directly ripped this line from the promo. You bring this Edge to SummerSlam and The Undertaker will tear you apart.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so the way I kind of sold you this that kind of made you get on board with it finally was I explained it as Roman is bullying Seth Rollins into realizing how he's treating Seth the way Seth's treated others for the last year. And essentially Seth is learning how wrong he was and is redeeming himself for his essentially sins. And so ultimately, the Murphy run-in was also always supposed to happen, wasn't it?
Yes.
Even when Murphy was on the roster, Murphy was going to make a run-in, and he was going to be in ring gear. But because of his release, we decided to have him run through the crowd.
When the Jey Uso stuff started happening, we wrote in that Murphy would interfere.
Right. Yeah, that's what it was. Because originally Seth was just going to win clean. But I think, he still did win clean. Murphy never touched Roman.
Yeah, that was the whole point, too, that Murphy wouldn't get involved directly with the competitors in the match. He would just keep the Usos from getting involved.
Yeah, and so, so from there, Seth and Roman, one of my favorite matches of the night. It was a fantastic match, ultimately. I think the return of the Kingslayer was a really great moment for the night as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately, I think Seth winning made the most sense. It was one of the matches we had booked for the longest. We're about to move on to the main event, but let's check the chat here. Hanzo and Carol both agree that we book better than WWE. Well, it's not that hard. You just got to be better than monkeys at a typewriter. Stuart asks, are you going to do the X Factor story with Bobby Roode? I'm going to say no, even though I don't know what that is. Ray, do you know what that is?
Yeah. TNA thing.
Okay, so now?
No.
No, we don't really do TNA stories that often. Hanzo asks, do you guys work during the day or the night? Yes.
Primarily night, I would say. Primarily like night.
If we're writing together at night, if I'm writing alone, it's during the day.
Yeah. And during a few, I'm a night owl, man. I'm up at most nights.
How did you think about the champion? I don't know what you're asking there.
How did you think about the champions? I think he's asking, how did we? I'm sorry. It's okay, Zane. Just don't do it again.
Yep, you're good. We understand. Just please kind of refrain from doing that again, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, let's continue, right?
5 minutes, and that's it. It's over now. How did you, for the 3 times I asked, it's fine, Zane. Like we said, it's fine. Anyway, how did you think about the champions? I think he's asking how we came to the conclusion of who we made the champion, how we came. And that's a big question.
Right. Let's just do the 3 world titles. How about that?
Huh?
Let's just do the 3 world titles so we don't go too terribly long. Because I did anticipate WrestleMania taking about an hour to talk about before we did the other stuff we were going to talk about. So yeah, we're kind of on track.
So how we came to the conclusion of Bobby Roode. We want a heel champion. We want a long-term heel WWE champion, kind of like in that same. I can't say that right now. Yeah. I can't say the name
wrestler synonymous with Big Gold recently had some things come out about him style character.
Yeah, so
that's how we came up with Roode. He fit that best.
Yeah. And then we get to AJ Styles. AJ Styles, I wanted. So Zander says this. I've always kind of viewed it as the 3rd show, but I guess if you want to say if it came to the 3rd show in season 2, you could. and I want a champion to legitimize that. And Styles was always going to be the NXT champion. That's something a lot of people like. It was planned from the beginning. Styles would win the belt a year later. And I also think AJ Styles. I kind of like the idea that he has his show.
Yeah.
And I'm an AJ Styles mark. I love AJ Styles. So yeah, that's kind of fanboyism, wanting a workhorse champion, an old school workhorse champion, loving AJ Styles. Maybe make him champion.
And finally, Johnny Gargano.
The story.
I wanted the Johnny Gargano story to feel like he finally earned the world title, but then when he gets there, you feel like he cheated you out of that he deserves it moment.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look at the other questions here. Why did Edge take a break after the Adam Cole match at Bad Blood? Because Edge is someone that's hard to keep around full time, in my opinion.
Yeah. He always needs to be touching the main event.
Yeah, and like I didn't want him challenging Ciampa again. Adam Cole won the world title and beat Edge in the same night, so Edge clearly should not have been fighting Adam Cole for the title. So I just decided let's give him a little bit of a break. He'll be back in season 3. It's just a matter of there was nowhere for him on the show at the time. We weren't exactly starved for main eventers on SmackDown this year. Okay, and so Hanzo says, I need advice about universe mode. Should I write down my storyline? I need a better way to keep up with the universe. Always write your plans down.
Yeah, always write it down. I would say even outside universe mode, just in writing in general, in any creative thing you do, always write it down. Always dedicate it to paper. Never say you're going to remember it. I did that for a long time. Say, oh, I'll remember, and you forget. You will forget. You will
forget.
So, I have that. It doesn't come with it comes with most Android phones. I'm pretty sure Apple has to have a version of this too.
Apple has Notepad, yeah.
I have the memo pad. So anytime I think of something, I take out the memo pad and I just quickly get down the idea I had in that moment. And I'm gonna be honest, a lot of my ideas aren't great ideas, but at the end of the day or at the end of the week, you can go through and kind of let you see what you thought of.
Yeah.
And, kind of root out your bad ideas.
Yeah. I'm a little more old-fashioned. I do keep a notebook with me. I've got a notebook right here and a pencil right here for writing ideas. And I also send Ray texts when I have ideas too, if I want to run them by him.
Yeah,
Hanzo says something like Google Doc. Yeah, that's what we do. We use Google Doc and memo pads to type.
Yeah, so just write down your ideas. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down.
Yep. And Zach says, I remember from day one, Roode was going to have a long title reign because he knows how to be champ for a long time. So yeah, Roode has been WWE champion longer than anyone at this point.
Zane, we appreciate the fact that you have an idea. We don't take ideas.
Yeah, we don't really look to the fans for storyline ideas. Like if someone catches fire with the fans, we will feature them on the show more and sometimes come up with ideas of our own for them, but we don't really do stories that fans suggest. Okay, so finally the main event, and we kind of already talked about this. I think the main event had the best video package.
Yeah.
I especially love just the music be the boo-doom, boo-doom, boo-doom at the end with each of them holding up the world title. I didn't even have to record that Johnny one because he literally held up the world title at the end of SmackDown 1 week a few months ago.
Yeah.
When he kicked Ciampa in the face.
Yeah, it was a great match. It was a great.
We'll talk about those in a minute. It was a fantastic match. It was a fantastic match. Cole, Ciampa, and Gargano. I mean, I think part of the reason it was such a fantastic match was it was planned for a year.
Yeah.
At one point, Keith Lee was going to make it a fatal 4-way, but we decided that would have crowded it up, and he would have been a weird, odd one out to this story.
He would have been Mick Foley at WrestleMania 2000. It would have just felt.
That's exactly how you talked me out of it.
Yeah. It would have just been why is he here?
Yeah, and I think the best part about this best WrestleMania main event, and I think that's something we've always done a good job of with the main events, like Balor and Bray last year as well. Anyone could have won, and everyone would have been happy about it.
Yeah.
You had Ciampa, arguably the face of LS11 Universe. You had Gargano, the guy who's been working for it for a year, and you had Adam Cole, the cool heel. And it was like, yeah, Adam Cole is in AEW now, but the Undisputed Era did just retain the tag titles. So maybe he's not leaving.
Yeah, and also, I kind of like it because it does kind of start that way where either three or any of them you can see winning and be relatively happy with the result. And then, I'm not, I can't, it was so far off now, I can't remember who had the idea of Gargano turning heel in the main event.
It was me. I wanted to do
Are we sure? Because
I think we mutually agreed on it, but I'm pretty sure I was the one who was like, Johnny needs to turn heel as world champion.
I think you said Johnny needs to turn heel, but I think I said he needs to turn heel in the main event.
Okay, that sounds right. That sounds right to me.
I think we originally were having him win clean and then turn heel like on SmackDown or a month later. I was like, let's have him turn heel in the main event.
You know what? Yeah, he was going to turn heel against his first opponent.
Yeah.
Which, when people see who his first opponent is on Friday, you're going to know why I wanted him to turn heel against this guy.
Yeah, but I think I was like, it would have been such a knife. Like, damn it. Like,
he cheated Ciampa.
Yeah.
And you got to love that it came right after the DIY combo.
Yeah, and
then, as I said, that was the super kick that killed DIY when Gargano super kicked Ciampa.
Yeah, and now they hit the final beat. I was really content on not calling that move. I think a lot of people had a problem with that from a comment yesterday. That's the first time he hit the final beat ever in our universe. That's the first time he said that move. So we wouldn't know what it is yet.
Right. I called it one final beat.
Yeah. But no, we didn't call the move the final beat.
Yeah. But, yeah, and the only downside is YouTube glitched out and cut WrestleMania off 20 seconds early.
Yep.
At least it didn't do it 2 minutes early, is the way I'm looking at it.
Oh my God, that would have been terrible.
Could you imagine if Gargano swung the chair and the show cut to black? I'd have been pissed. I'd have had to re-upload the whole video. I'd have just re-uploaded the whole video.
Yeah.
I'd have left my house, gone to the place I upload my videos that has high-speed Wi-Fi, and uploaded WrestleMania right then and there. Anyway, yeah, so that was WrestleMania. Let's look at the chat here. Can we talk about EC3 finally making a WrestleMania appearance? Yes, we can. Get in there, EC3. Why don't we play 2K20?
2K20 because it's ass.
Or as Hanzo said a few lines later, because it's trash. It is. Pierre said that the Triple Threat was his match of the night. I liked it a lot. Wasn't my match of the night. I think that Bryan Roode might be on that. Zach was like, what? At the ending of that main event. Hanzo says the monster package for Bryan was the best. It brought back so many memories. And Zach says, man, Ray was right about Gargano the whole time. Long-term storytelling. Gargano was always a weasel. You know what the best part was?
Ray's just Neo from my commentary character. Is just Neo from the Matrix. He knows the truth.
So we stopped you doing the Gargano weasel thing by having him kick you out of the Rumble. I wanted you. I told you this before, and I haven't told anyone this. I wanted Ray to continue this, and when Johnny won the main event, for Ray to completely do a 180 and go, yes, I've been rooting for him since the beginning.
No, I just like my reaction to Johnny beating me up. Jonathan and I have come to a mutual understanding, completely mutual. I felt the same way he did, but this has gone far enough.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as I'm just making sure that wasn't anything important I just got emailed about, we seem to be good. Yep, we're good. Nothing important. We still have a few things to do today. We're only an hour in. We still got a few things we got to do. Season 2 storylines. So, we talked about a lot of them.
Yeah.
We talked about the AEW invasion that got canceled, which would have involved Brody Lee as world champion. we've talked about CM Punk almost returning. We talked a lot about stuff that got canceled at WrestleMania today. Talked about Aleister Black as WWE champion. We've talked about a lot. Is there anything we haven't talked about, Ray? I can't remember.
Because we kind of gone over a lot of the big stuff. Like, the big one was Daniel Bryan joining the Undisputed Era. That was the big canceled plan of this season, to me anyway.
Yeah, so I think we've honestly, in the last few months, have gone over everything that we've dropped in season 2. Because I think we were just waiting for Mania to talk about Roode versus Murphy versus Black, and all that stuff. And Bryan joining
We could talk about the canceled tag tournament, but that's not much.
Nah, I don't even remember it, so...
are you going to carry your universe into 2K22? Yes.
Is Becky Lynch face or heel in real life?
Right now, she's a heel, so...
Yeah, she's a heel from what I can tell. She's not in universe right now because the reason we took her out of universe, because I know that's going to be a question eventually. She left universe in August in-game, March in real life at SummerSlam. The reason I did that is because if WWE had to lose her to maternity leave for a year, then so should we. We want to talk about how we do things better than WWE. Well, we have to work with stuff like that too, is what I think.
Yeah.
So, when will she be back? Eventually. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've had a game that we've played with all of you for the last 6 months or so.
Yep, Masters of the LS11 universe.
Actually, 8. We did it for 8 months. So, the winner of Masters of the LS11 universe Season 2 will receive, Season 2 will receive a trophy like this. It'll just have the current logo of me with red hair on it. Zane, you can look that up because we don't have the answers. You see it has Masters of the Universe, Season 1 winner, Zander on here. I just did that as a template trophy. So the winner of Season 2 is going to get a trophy like this. So, I will read the results backwards to forwards. In last place with 3 points each, we have Lonnie and Super AJ Styles Nick. A long tie for second to last with 4 points. With 4 points, Jamin Hunt, Nico Dem, JWE, Zach Roberts, and Matthew.
Okay.
With 5 points, Amari and Tech Nizzle. With 6 points, Jake Abner, Jaquez Williams, and Nick Taylor.
Okay.
With 12 points, Mac Danger. With 18 points, Wrestling Culture. With 19 points, DJ Danger. With 20 points, Elijah Hammonds. With 24 points, Shinobi. With 24 points, Greg Tree. He dropped out towards the end there. With 32 points, Calvin. With 34 points, Real Pro Gamer or Real Pro Wrestling. He changed it halfway through the season, but I knew who he was because he's a member of our Discord. With 37 points in the chat right now is Zane Chaudhry. We are now in the top 5. Tied for 5th place with 41 points each is Blaze Wave and Hanzo.
Okay.
In 4th, because 3rd, 2nd, and 1st all get prizes. In 4th place with 58 points is Zach Rushing. It was a very tight race for top 4.
Yeah.
In 3rd place with 59, who really turned things around with Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania, Gobber JJ. In 2nd place with 60 points, Carol Wands Rowcroft. And in 1st place, I will give the disclaimer, he did not participate at WrestleMania. WrestleMania was his first show knowing anything that was going to happen. With 69 nice points, Prince Mada.
Yeah.
So Prince Mada has won Season 2 of Masters of the Universe. He will not be participating in Season 3 because he is now officially part of the booking team for the shows. So WrestleMania was his first show with us. So everything before that, he had no idea what was happening. He got most stuff right though. And
don't keep crashing, man. Like we're fine. Like it's No one else is saying anything.
Anyways, we'll get to that in a minute. So Mada, I will be sending a trophy. Carol and Jobber, I will be reaching out soon about signed posters. And hey, Masters of the LS11 Universe Season 2 had 12 shows on it. Season 3 is going to have 27. So you guys get 27 chances to win next season.
Yeah, so guys like Hanzo, guys here have a lot more chances. It's going to be a much tighter race. And make sure you participate. Thank you, Hanzo.
But yeah, so that is it for Masters of LS11 Universe. I will get Mada's trophy ordered. I will get the posters made for Carol, Jobber, and Mada. And we will get those shipped out in the next few days. Okay, so let's check out the chat here. Hanzo says, I promised I was going to win, which is unfortunate. It's good luck next season, though. Zane asks, who's your favorite superstar in AEW? That's a good question, honestly. You got one?
MJF.
Darby is up there. If we're just going people who have only been AEW and never WWE, mine is going to be Darby.
Yeah.
And Brian Cage. Brian Cage as well.
MJF, come on. Give MJF some love.
I love to hate him. You watch Gore and Perkins Universe Mode or Murph's Universe Mode. I'm not reading the last part of that because we don't diss other YouTubers on this channel. I don't particularly watch. I watch Gore and Perkins occasionally.
I think you said, if not, they are good.
Okay. I thought it said of not because they're not good. Okay. They are good. I don't sit down and watch many other universe modes. I watch my friends' universe modes usually, like Mada's, Greg Tree when he was doing it. He's kind of taking a break, it seems. I watch Gore and Perkins if I'm really bored and the thumbnail looks fun. Hanzo says, I'm winning first next time. I hope you do. I get paid on Thursday. I need that donation link. I'm buying some merch finally. All those links are in the description. So,
yep.
Okay. So that is the first of 3 things that are important to channel competitions that we have to talk about. Or not competitions. We're saving the Slammies for last because remember, everyone, if you want to vote on the Slammies, there is still time. There's still a few minutes. But Ray, when did we start Universe Mode? 2 years ago next month. In fact, 2 years ago next week, I think.
Yeah.
So, Ray,
Uh-huh.
People have been asking for this for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for a tier list of all of our main roster pay-per-views. I didn't tell Ray we were doing this, by the way.
And now you've just extended my commitment to this. I was hoping to actually watch the game today. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
This is why you have to tell me things, Zander.
I actually told you this a few weeks ago. I was like, we're going to do tier list. It's only going to take a minute. We're going to speed run this tier list.
Okay.
So
let's go ahead.
We got best show ever, pretty good, middle of the road, could have been better, and the worst of the worst. Backlash Season 1. I'm going to say could have been better. What do you think?
Could have been better. Okay, could have been
Super
better.
Showdown, worst of the worst. Worst show we have ever done pay-per-view wise.
Worst of the worst.
Money in the Bank has aged poorly, but it was a pretty good show. I'm putting it in the middle of the road.
Okay, yeah.
SummerSlam Season 1. Really good show, but it's aged poorly as well. What do you think?
I like it now, but yeah, I agree. It's aged poorly.
Middle of the road. Clash of Champions definitely could have been better. I mean, you had Grand Metalik fighting for a title on it, which was me. Had Grand Metalik fighting for a title before people pinned that on Ray. Hell in a Cell could have been better. 2-minute main event. Just reminding people that. Survivor Series, let's say, was our first pretty good show.
Pretty good.
TLC holds a special place because it was our first premiered pay-per-view.
Yep.
Okay, Royal Rumble. It's not our best, but I'm going to say bottom of pretty good because there was a lot I would have improved on in the time.
Elimination Chamber.
Middle of the road?
Sure.
Yeah, middle of the road. I think our first WrestleMania is one of our best.
Yeah.
I think I've got 4 shows I put in our best ever category, if even. I think 3 for sure, 4 maybe. I'm putting Backlash Season 2.
Top 10 for when I do it. I think I'm just going to do a top 10 for takeovers because now there's an even 10. So
yeah, but yeah. So I think this goes top of pretty good because of the champ. That's a historic moment in LS11 Universe in its own right of Ciampa winning.
Yeah.
Our second Money in the Bank, I think, is a middle of the road show.
Yeah.
No Mercy, honestly, it's our second worst show we've ever done, I think.
Yeah.
Battleground definitely could have been better.
Coming back, we had a bit of a run of weak shows in season 2.
Yeah.
But
I think
then
our
we came
SummerSlam-
right back with SummerSlam, which I would say is best of the best.
Yep. Clash of Champions, I'd say also goes pretty good.
And then we have the best pay-per-view ever done so far, Bad Blood.
Oh, yeah. Survivor Series, I'm going to also argue somewhere in pretty good, like middle of pretty good, probably.
Yeah.
All right. TLC, it's right in the middle of the road. It was a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Royal Rumble Season 2, what do you think?
I really enjoyed that show.
I'll put it at the very bottom of the best so that we have an even 5 in the best category.
Yeah.
Elimination Chamber, I'm putting it top pretty good because I don't think Elimination Chamber quite cracks best show ever, but it was one of our best shows in a while.
Yeah, and then we have WrestleMania, which of course I would argue is it's up there with Bad Blood. I still think Bad Blood could possibly be argued to be our best show.
There you go. Everyone's wanted it for so long. There's the tier list of our pay-per-views.
Yep.
And I'm sorry that I sprung that on you, Ray. Did you enjoy like the 2 minutes that took?
I thought you wanted to actually do like an in-depth tier list.
No, we can do an in-depth on that one day.
Yeah, we're probably going to do an in-depth one. What I'm going to say is we'll probably do an in-depth one middle of the season, and we'll include some takeovers.
Yeah. Okay, so finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, the Slammy Awards.
The Slammies have now closed, ladies and gentlemen.
Slammies are now closed. We had
Demonetized.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We had 12 awards on the line. We had Male Superstar of the Year, Female Superstar of the Year, the Breakout Male Star of the Year, Breakout Female Star of the Year, Tag Team of the Year, Betrayal of the Year, Rivalry of the Year, Return of the Year, Commentator of the Year, General Manager of the Year, Upset of the Year, and Match of the Year. So should I work from Match of the Year up to Superstar of the Year or Superstar of the Year down to Match of the Year?
What do you think? What do you think is the bigger thing?
All right, chat. What do you guys think is the bigger thing? Superstar of the Year or Match of the Year? Let's see, and then we'll read some comments here. Xanice, what's your favorite chocolate bar? I like a good old Hershey bar from time to time.
I'm also a fan of Hershey. I'm also a fan of Three Musketeers.
I like a Snickers. Snickers might be my favorite, though.
Yeah. But I like Three Musketeers because this has the fluff. That's what I like.
Oh, this is a great question because, Ray, you were going to do something about this. Stuart asks, what would you say to people who want to start Universe mode?
Start it with somebody.
Yeah, have someone on your side to do it.
Have someone to bounce ideas off of.
Yeah, someone to bounce ideas off of. And final question before we start reading the Slammies. Zane asks, what's your favorite Batman movie? What's yours, Ray? Because you know
mine. I know yours is The Dark Knight Rises.
Yes, Dark Knight Rises is mine.
So I will say it is still The Dark Knight. I love The Dark Knight.
It's a good movie.
But do you want to know what my second one is?
What's your second one?
Batman Returns. I love Tim Burton, and I love how weird that movie is. At least my nose isn't gushing blood. Gushing blood.
All right, so are you ready for the Slammies?
All right, let's go.
We have one award that is a tie in the end. We had 22 votes overall.
Okay.
So the options for Match of the Year were Seth Rollins versus Buddy Murphy at SummerSlam, Rhea Ripley versus Ronda Rousey at SummerSlam, Team Rollins versus Team Sandow at Survivor Series, AJ Styles versus Timothy Thatcher at TakeOver Brooklyn 2, Daniel Bryan versus Bobby Roode at WrestleMania, Dolph Ziggler versus Damian Priest to determine who faces Ilya Dragunov at TakeOver London, Adam Cole versus John Cena from Survivor Series, Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa at SummerSlam, the Women's Elimination Chamber, and Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan at TLC. And the winner With 9 out of 22 votes, drum roll please, Seth Rollins versus Buddy Murphy at SummerSlam.
Yes, my pick won.
A close second was Daniel Bryan versus Bobby Roode at WrestleMania. Up next, upset of the year. A match where you think that the person who won definitely shouldn't have beat the person they did.
Okay.
And those options are Murphy defeats Roman Reigns to earn his SummerSlam match with Seth Rollins. Shane Thorne defeats Seth Rollins on the Raw After Elimination Chamber. El Generico squashes Kevin Owens in 6 seconds for the U.S. title at Bad Blood. Tyler Bate wins the #1 contenders Battle Royal to the NXT Championship. Timothy Thatcher defeats AJ Styles at TakeOver Brooklyn. Ilya Dragunov defeats Karrion Kross to win the North American Championship at TakeOver 10. Tommaso Ciampa defeats Drew McIntyre to win the World Heavyweight Championship at Backlash. Cesaro defeats John Cena on the SmackDown before the Royal Rumble. And Toni Storm defeats Shayna Baszler for the SmackDown Women's Championship at Bad Blood. And the winner of Upset of the Year, Toni Storm defeats Shayna Baszler for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Makes sense.
No one voted for her that night, and the second, it was a close race. There's a 1 vote difference between that and Dragunov beating Cross.
Yeah, that's what I would guess too.
GM of the Year. Your options were Raw General Manager Damian Sandow, current Raw General Manager and former NXT General Manager William Regal, current NXT General Manager Wade Barrett, former SmackDown General Manager Christian, and current SmackDown General Manager Triple H. In a landslide, with 9 out of 22 votes, William Regal.
Knew it.
As it should have been. This one.
War Games!
Okay, so this one. Commentator of the Year, and your options were Arnold Schwarzenegger, co-com of ARW and appeared on commentary once in LS11 Universe. Prince Mada, who commentated the WrestleMania pre-show. Ray Wood, who commentates all the pay-per-views and takeovers with me. And myself, Xander Carver, who commentates every episode.
All right.
Tied for last place with 3 votes each, Carnal and Prince Mada.
Okay.
Second place with 4 out of 22 votes is Ray Wood. And I am humbled to say, with a majority of the votes, I am Commentator of the Year. I did not expect that.
Yeah, Xander thought I would win because he thinks you guys like to troll him.
I just thought you guys liked Ray more, so I was very humbled to see I won. So thank you all for that. I guess I will buy myself a Slammy now.
All right.
They're actually really expensive, though. So this one. 2 people have won this Slammy, actually. Return of the Year. Your options were Randy Orton returns and punts Johnny Gargano on the SmackDown after SummerSlam.
All right.
John Cena returns to challenge Adam Cole at Survivor Series.
All right.
Mark Henry returns to face Roman Reigns. The Hart Dynasty return and win the NXT Tag Team Championships. And Buddy Murphy returns on the Raw before WrestleMania to give Seth Rollins a motivational speech. And the winners of Return of the Year are John Cena and Buddy Murphy. Makes perfect sense to me.
Okay.
Rivalry of the Year. The options were Rhea Ripley versus Ronda Rousey, Seth Rollins versus Buddy Murphy, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan versus Bobby Roode, Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, AJ Styles versus Timothy Thatcher, the Hart Dynasty versus Mustache Mountain, Chad Gable versus Shelton Benjamin, Adam Cole versus Daniel Bryan, Tommaso Ciampa versus Randy Orton, and Gargano versus Ciampa. And the winner of Rivalry of the Year for Season 2, Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa, with Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy as a very close second.
Okay.
Betrayal of the Year. This one is the biggest landslide so far. The options were Shelton Benjamin betrays Chad Gable at, what was it, Super Brawl? Yeah, Super Brawl. Samoa Joe betrays Damian Sandow at Survivor Series. Bobby Roode betrays James Storm after they lose the Tag Team Championships. Johnny Gargano betrays Tommaso Ciampa at WrestleMania. Joseph Connors betrays Joe Hendry. Shane Thorne betrays Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins betrays Buddy Murphy. And the winner of Betrayal of the Year, Johnny Gargano betrays Tommaso Ciampa in the main event of WrestleMania.
Yep. Why didn't we make Brand of the Year a category?
I forgot. And I'm not opening the polls up again to make that one. Tag Team of the Year. The options were The New Day, DIY, The Undisputed Era, Mustache Mountain, The Hart Dynasty, Grizzled Young Veterans, The Usos, and Shane Thorne and Dio Madden.
All right.
And the winners, with 15 out of 22 votes, I don't even need a drum roll. I think you all knew who it was going to be. Shock the System. The Undisputed Era, our Tag Team of the Year. For Breakout Female Superstar of the Year, the options were Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai, Toni Storm, and Mia Yim. And Ray Wood, give us a drum roll, please, because the winner of Breakout Female Superstar of the Year, your NXT Women's Champion, Tegan Nox.
Yes.
May have put out a small campaign to people to get Nox voted that one.
Yeah, because I think Nox deserves that.
Breakout Male Superstar of the Year. Your options were Buddy Murphy, Keith Lee, L.A. Knight, Karrion Kross, Joseph Connors, Bronson Reed, Dominic Dijakovic, Timothy Thatcher, and Chad Gable. And the winner, this one was a really close one as well, of Breakout Superstar of the Year, Keith Lee. Very close race between Lee and Kross.
Keith Lee?
Yes, Keith Lee is Breakout Star of the Year.
I would have guessed Kross.
I thought so too, but I guess people just... I mean, Keith really didn't do anything in Season 1, so Season 2 was his breakout year.
Yeah. All right.
Finally,
I Kross.
the final two categories. Female Superstar of the Year. The options were Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley, Bayley, Toni Storm, Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey, Tegan Nox, Candice LeRae, and Ember Moon. And the winner of Female Superstar of the Year in LS11 Universe Season 2, do you even need to guess? Rhea Ripley. And finally, I think everyone has a feeling who won this one. But, ladies and gentlemen, the final Slammy Award of LS11 Universe Season 2 Superstar of the Year. The options: Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Bobby Roode, Roman Reigns, Walter, Pete Dunne, AJ Styles, Ricochet, Adam Cole, baby, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and Daniel Bryan. I'm going to do a little bit of dramatic to this one before I ask you for a drum roll. With 3 out of 22 votes, 13.6%, Seth Rollins. With 1 vote each, 4.5% of the votes each, Finn Balor, Bobby Roode, Roman Reigns, Walter, and AJ Styles. With 3 out of 22 votes, 13.6% of the overall votes, Adam Cole. With 2 out of 22 votes, 9.1% of the overall vote, Johnny Gargano. And the Superstar of the Year, with 9 out of 22 votes, 40.9%, your Superstar of the Year, Tommaso Ciampa.
Was there ever any doubt?
Not at all. So, as a recap to everyone, the Match of the year was Rollins Murphy at SummerSlam. Upset of the year, Tony Storm defeats Shayna Baszler. GM of the year, William Regal. Commentator of the year, Xander Carver. Return of the year, a tie between John Cena and Buddy Murphy. Rivalry of the year, Gargano versus Ciampa. Betrayal of the year, Gargano betrays Ciampa. Tag team of the year, The Undisputed Era. Breakout female of the year, Tegan Knox. Breakout male of the year, Keith Lee. Female superstar of the year, Rhea Ripley. And male superstar of the year, Tommaso Ciampa. Was there any doubt? Gargano and Ciampa walked out of here with like 3 slammies each, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So, that is almost it, but I have one last thing I told Ray I was going to talk about that I need to just kind of get off my chest before I go, because today is it's a hard day for me in my life. September 26th is not an easy day of the year for me anymore. And I want to talk about this because it has a lot to do with LS11 Universe. So I haven't opened up about this since LS11 Universe started, but growing up, I was really raised more by my great-grandparents, who I called Nanny and Bo. Bo did a lot for me in my life. And today would have been his 86th birthday. And 2 years ago, on his 84th birthday, he passed away. And Bo passing away did a lot for building up this channel. Did a lot to motivate me to do it. And I didn't tell you I was going to say this much, but Ray, I haven't told you this in 2 years, but thank you for sending me that text that day. Thank you for finally reaching out to me after I'd been a dick for 3 years. Because I don't know where I'd be without you 2 years later.
I didn't hear much of that, but thank you.
All I said was thank you for sending me that text the day Bo died, because I don't know where I'd have been at without you.
Yeah, thanks, Hanzo. Yeah,
I'm really proud of where we've gone with our friendship these last 2 years. So yeah, sorry about that, everyone. I just don't talk about that often, and it felt like 2 years later I should finally get it off my chest. Ray will possibly be back later. I will be back later tonight after I've had a day to myself here to watch Extreme Rules tonight. So I hope you all enjoyed WrestleMania. I hope you all enjoyed season 2 of LS11 Universe. Yeah. Sorry to drop that on everyone right there at the end of the stream.
Yeah.
So kind of a hard point of the year for me.
It's a tough spot to be in. I remember when we first started talking because he hadn't passed away yet.
Yeah.
It was September though. I can't watch it.
It was like the week before.
Yeah. But
yeah. So yeah, thanks to everyone who tuned in today. I look forward to seeing a lot of you tonight at Extreme Rules for the watch along. I look forward to seeing a lot of you on Monday.
Tuesday,
Draft week
Dynamite. Don't forget that.
Draft week, Dynamite, ARW. So much coming this week. I literally don't get a day off of YouTube until next Saturday. And even then, I get one day off because then I got to pick you up the next day. So thank you to everyone. Thank you, Hanzo. I see those messages. It's very appreciated. With that, I've been Zander.
I've been Ray.
And that was WrestleMania Fallout.
Bye, guys.